a scrap paper, or if you happen to have a notebook or a journal nearby. I recommend today, because I will be posing some things that may require an answer, or an answer may flash in your mind. Good to have it, but also just for every meditation, so that if something arises that you don't want to forget, it's very pertinent that you can write it down, put it away for later, and then come back to your breath and body. Welcome to class. Let's begin in, hopefully, a position away from your workspace, away from your desk if possible. I love the floor personally, so if that's an option for you, I just have an old couch cushion and an old rug from my daughter's room when she was little. So I just sit on these two things on top of a yoga mat, so it really feels like a wonderfully comfy spot. You're welcome to be lying on your back as well. And if your back gives you a hard time, it gets kind of cranky as you sit, please do get yourself propped up against a wall, or you can stay in your chair. If you're in a chair, I recommend that you try to get your feet flat so you can feel grounding, like those of us that are on the floor will be able to feel. Okay, so get cozy, get warm, especially because it's getting a little colder during these months. And feather your nest, so to say. I love to think about that visual. Just getting really cozy in your spot, moving in all of the ways that feel necessary so you can settle into stillness. Some of my favorite ways to move. I like to give a little twist, using hands on whatever is near you, your body, your floor, your chair, your desk, to move a little this way and that. And then definitely try to lengthen your spine, whether you're just seated and breathing, or if you can stretch your arms up and overhead, like you're climbing a little rope. Reach one side higher, the other side higher. Let's take a side bend. Even if you're lying, just stretch over like into the shape of a banana if you're lying. Otherwise, off to one side and then off to the other side. Reaching up and overhead, and if you're seated with me, bring hands behind your head and tuck your chin to your chest for a little neck stretch. If you're lying, look over one shoulder. If you're seated, lifting your chin, looking up, leaning back, and if you're lying, looking over your other shoulders, getting our necks to feel a little bit longer and happier. Eyes back to the sky for those who are lying, eyes back forward for those who are seated. Try to wiggle a little bit through your shoulders so they can rest a bit more heavily down and back. And then the eyes are so important. See if you can block out stimulation. So closing your eyes is highly recommended, but if that doesn't feel comfortable or safe, it's okay. Soften your gaze. So I like to take my eye gaze right down my nose, and then I look to the floor, to something still and unmoving, and then see if you can try to slowly close your eyes, still seeing, but unfocused and blurry. Make your eyes like little slits. And once you have arrived, the hardest part is over. You're here, you're situated, you're settling, figuring out if you'd like to have your palms down for some grounding, to let go, to release, to drop in. Or if you're feeling quite sluggish and tired, you might choose to have your palms up to bring in good energy and a little bit more awakening. Welcome to your meditation today. You are worth this quiet moment. You are worth all of the deep breaths we're about to take. You are very worth the time it takes to slow down, be still, rest, and rejuvenate. Our focus today is on acceptance. But before we begin our specific meditation, let's take a moment to get super, super comfy. Spine is long, but not rigid, soft and movable. And anytime as we're seated together today, you feel that you need to move a little bit to get more comfy, please always do that. Begin relaxing your facial muscles. Easiest way to do so is to relax the hinge of your jaw. Let it drop open. Might even open your lips. Separate bottom teeth from top. Let your tongue rest heavily on the back of your bottom teeth. Trust that your space will infinitely support you and give yourself permission to completely let go. We have no time to rush here. Beginning to find some breath. And if you have a really hard time feeling your breath as your hands are down on your legs or on the floor, feel free to actually bring them to an area of your body that you may be able to physically feel your breath, such as your belly. If it's not down that low yet, maybe into your throat or over your heart to feel your chest. You can also softly bring them to your ribs. Fingertips can wrap around the front of ribs, thumb to the back of your ribs, and just see if you're able to breathe and lift your hands wherever they are. If you're able to visualize your breath without physically touching it, notice the rise and fall, the widening, the releasing, lifting and lowering, expanding and contracting. And then further release your facial muscles. I love to feel eyes dropping more heavily down into their sockets. Feel storylines, laugh lines, the little beautiful lines around your eyes, in between your eyebrows and under your eyes, to just gently slip away. See them forming one smooth, stress and worry-free surface. As we begin the process of relaxing, it may help you to envision yourself in your happy space, in your most favorite relaxing space, whether that be a really far place from where you are, a vacation spot, or it could be your bed or your couch, just somewhere that makes you feel so rested and relaxed. Envision yourself there. Start to blend in with that entire area, feeling yourself rest a bit more heavily into your supports. Imagining that beautiful, peaceful place, and then let your forehead begin to melt together, one smooth surface. Cheeks, chin, all of that facial tension can roll right down off your neck and off the back of your shoulders. Give yourself the luxury of the ultimate relaxation. Our acceptance practice today means that we are going to please allow ourselves to be exactly as we are in every given moment. And if that means that you can't let go of some tension, that's okay. We're here to be present and to notice, to bring awareness to our breath. Where in your body can you feel your breath the most? The easiest place will be your nostrils. Notice how you get that cool sensation, the two threads of breath coming in. And can you notice the warmer threads of breath as they leave? You may possibly be feeling it in your throat, your chest, your side bodies, or the front of your stomach. And once you've made a connection with your breath, let's allow our hands to rest, hopefully palm up, so we can stay really focused for 8 breaths. Today we do a little finger practice where we're touching our thumbs to each of the tips of our other 4 fingers really slowly to keep us focused on our breath. So to begin, palms turn up. We sit really tall but soft in our spine, almost like it could sway here and there with our beautiful soft breaths. Let's breathe in a sense of peaceful calm as we touch our thumb to our pinky fingers. Breathe out and begin to let go of any tension that's ready to leave. Thumb to ring finger, breathing in a calming, peaceful breath. Exhaling and releasing. Thumb to middle finger, inhaling and scanning through your body. Seeing where your breath needs to touch for a little bit of a release as you exhale. Inhaling positive energy as you touch your thumb to your index finger. Revitalize that area and exhale, attempting to completely expel any stagnant air, any negative energy. And let's begin again. Thumb to pinky finger as we breathe in fully, softly and gently. Try to exhale even more air, possibly extending your exhale a little longer than the in-breath was. Thumb to ring finger, gathering up energy as you breathe in, allowing it to pass as you breathe out. Thumb to middle finger, very slowly but broadly, wide and soft, full inhalation. How gently, how quietly can you let your out-breath go? Well done, committing to 8 breaths. Final breath together here. Index finger and thumb touch. Breathing in. Can you take an extra sip at the tip top of that breath a little more? Exhale, fully release. And at the very bottom of that breath, are you able to puff out a bit extra? Well done. Let your fingers and your hands relax. And if you'd rather, move them to a new space, cupping them in front of your belly or resting your palms down. Find something very relaxing as you move back into your peaceful, still space. As we begin working on our meditation together today, remembering that it's about acceptance, allowing everything to be just as it is, no matter what arises. And as we continue focusing on our breath for the rest of our time together, our intention is to bring in everything that is good and true and life-giving from our practice today. Not just breath, but really bringing in positivity, good energy, good vibes. Let's notice the different parts of our breath, the full length of the inhalation, the top of that breath, and then that amazing little pause before the out-breath begins, that moment of perfect stillness, and the full exhalation, the bottom of it, and then again, that tiny little pause before we recycle the breath. And in the spirit of our wonderful holiday that is approaching, let's have a spirit of gratitude for just the most basic, the gift of another precious day. Let's approach every meditation and every breath with a curious, beginner's mind. You're the casual observer to the state of your body and your mind currently. There will be ups and downs. You may be flashing through in your thoughts successes and failures, and the thoughts or the visuals of friends and maybe even enemies may arise. We accept anything that comes our way. The acceptance of our lives when we felt we can be all we can be, and other areas of our lives that we feel we're falling short. It's a beautiful thing to conjure up all of these images, these memories, these thoughts and feelings, stay present with them and accept them. This is our precious life, all the good and all the so-called bad. Grateful for every second of it. As you breathe, remember that everything, every single moment, every single second that has been up until this very moment has brought us to where we are today. We couldn't be who we are without all of these things. Sometimes it's hard, but we're going to take a moment to try to be grateful for all of it. All of the perceived good and the bad, the negative and the positive, however you view it. All of the people who have shaped us, all of those who have loved us, and even for those that we've experienced disharmony. Remember that every single one of these people have shaped us to become the perfectly imperfect human beings that we are today, sitting or lying here in this beautiful moment of relaxation and gratitude. And notice I said human beings. We are practicing today to just be as we are. Oftentimes, our human being turns into a human doer or a human goer, especially during the holidays. So it's now more important than ever to take this time and settle. When we slow down, feelings of restlessness and impatience, discomfort can arrive. And that's when I urge you to move and get more comfortable. Or if it's a reoccurring thought, that's where your writing utensil and your paper come in handy. Please take a second to jot down anything that's obstructing you or preventing you from settling and coming inside to focus on your breath. But with presence comes that notice of how we're feeling in this very moment. Giving ourselves permission to slow down, soften, and be just as you are also allows the space for things to arise. There's no need to change anything that happens in your practice. Each of our exhalations may allow us to soften more deeply into our supports and let go of whatever's floating through our awareness. Let it float right on out. Our acceptance meditation today allows us to live from our state of being, from our state of who we really are. What is seeking to emerge and what is seeking to be released? If it's something pertinent, take time to jot it down. Pay special attention as you breathe to what your innermost soul is saying. Oftentimes, we just have to slow down to let these wonderful things arise, or maybe the not so wonderful things arise. We give them space to just be. Very normal for thoughts, emotions, or visuals to arrive, such as your longings, your goals, what you'd like to do, experience, or express. What do you want to create or bring forth? Is there discontent somewhere? Do you feel settled? Or are there feelings such as apathy or hopelessness? Anything that arises is wonderful. We let it be just as it is, knowing that we have breath, and we can allow acceptance. Presence is most important. Seeing it, feeling it, creating space for it, and maybe letting some or all of it go. Is it possible for just right now in our time together to momentarily let go of trying to control our lives? That's a big ask. So try to breathe in. Might need to ask ourselves a couple of times, can we let go of just a little bit of that control? Especially difficult during the busyness of the holidays. See if you can release, exhale, actually open mouth, sigh out, release desires to strive, achieve, succeed, and instead just be. Can you release eagerness to get somewhere new? Can you settle into the current rhythm of the universe, just as it is? And it's okay if your answer is no, or if you don't have an answer at all. We're just sitting with these really big asks, these really big questions. Can you consider letting go of expectations, ideal timelines? Can you find acceptance of yourself and your life exactly as it is right now? Whether it's glorious, whether it's gloriously messy. Accepting, being one with your breath. And when we ask these big questions, it's very possible that you notice an actual physical sensation that might be a feeling of resistance. It could be struggle that's bubbling up to the surface. All is good. You're just here to notice and be the casual observer. Reconnect with your breath and remind yourself that nothing about this experience needs to change. Let's try to be at peace with how things are. Embrace this present moment and remain in your sense of stillness, any newfound sense of peacefulness, patience with what is arriving, and hopefully, ultimately, acceptance of what is. As we work through this process, which can take many, many times to fully work through, what we're hoping to achieve is alignment, a sense of balance, a feeling of grace and ease as we flow through what's arriving and as we allow a little bit of anything that's no longer serving us to dissipate. Try to inhale a big, beautiful sense of calm. I literally like to see it washing over my body. So I envision almost like a big bubble and feel this clear, smooth aura washing over my body as this sense of calm. Envision it however it makes sense for you to really feel it, embody that sense of calm. Slowing down your mind and turning inwards to connect more deeply with your breath. If that became difficult, always using the option of physically connecting by placing our hands somewhere that we can physically feel the movements of our breath. Plugging back into our spirit, recharging our spirit as we slow down and breathe. Just for the next few minutes together, another big ask. Take your foot off the accelerator. Releasing doing, going, and turning towards being. Allow the beauty of being idle for our short period of time together to completely replenish your souls. Inhaling again, a big sense of calm. A feeling of relaxation. Focused presence. Whatever is arising is okay. We can see it, we can feel it, and we can let it go. And even if your mind through our practices stays busy, we can try to focus on letting our body release. Physically allowing the muscles of our scalp to soften. See if you can feel your hair follicles, like your hair got a little heavier and hung a little lower. Remembering to breathe, letting your shoulders sink a little bit lower. Unwinding any knots of tension as we breathe through the backs and the fronts of our neck, through our back bodies, and down through our back sides. Still focusing on breath, becoming heavier in our arms, almost feeling a cascade of energy ease down and through you. Ripple that cascade of tension release down through your legs and your feet so your whole body enters a state of relaxation. And then hopefully as you practice more, your mind will begin to follow. Open yourself, be open-minded. Allow the thoughts of ease to come in. Surrender your thoughts. Just open your heart and breathe into the calm spaces in your body. Anything that feels a bit more open, relaxed and present. Effortlessness. Feeling a bit of contentment and hopefully alignment with our newfound sense of acceptance. And then when you're ready, if you have longer, please do take several more breaths. But for the sake of our time together, when you're ready, with a real sense of gentleness, let's bring ourselves back and ease our way out of our practice slowly and mindfully. So we might bring a little bit of finger movement, a little bit of wrist movement, and then the same into our toes. Give them a little wiggle and into your ankles. Possibly rolling through our shoulders and our neck, the way we started, bringing a little bit of movement back in. So you can reawaken with a real sense of compassionate kindness, very slowly. Take as much time as you need. I like to roll through my back. Once you've made your way to seated, you can make a little bit of circles there. And then blink your eyes back open or open them wider if they were in little slits. Come back to seated up really tall with a soft and steady gaze forward when you are ready. Bringing hands to heart center if this feels good for you. It's a beautiful gesture of gratitude towards our practices. So I encourage you to tuck your chin, eye gaze softly down at your fingertips. And remembering, my friends, that as we work together, peace does not mean to be in a place where there's no trouble, no noise, or no hard work. It means to be in the midst of all of this and still feel calm in your hearts. Thank you so much for sharing your practices with me today. I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I can't wait to see you next week. My light honors your light. Namaste.